Hello, Soul Cooking with Tea, family and friends. Um, Hopefully, you're having an amazing day. I'll give it a few minutes for everyone in Soul Cooking family to see that we are live in Soul Cooking. So, hopefully, you're having a great day. I'm going to try and go live on my Instagram. Let's see if I can get it to work. This is the first time. Yes, we are live. Hello, Instagram and my Twitter family. So we are live on both platforms today, on all three of our platforms. So thank you for joining me live. Thank you for joining me live on our Twitter. Hello. Thank you so much for joining me. If you would, I want to make sure that you can hear me good. Sorry about the lighting and the reflections off of my glasses. We're working on the lighting. So just let me know, give me some hearts or some thumbs ups. Thank you, Corey, for letting me know that you can hear me on Facebook. Hello, Angela. Let me know if you can hear me good on Twitter. This is our first time. I think this is the first time going live on our Twitter account. So I'll take off my glasses so it won't be such of a glare. But when I start to see messages, I have to put them on because I can't see them. It's kind of blurry. So let me begin. I am Tawana Carlton, your host of Soul Cooking with Tea. And today I wanted to come in and say welcome. We have some new people that are following us. We thank you all for the followers. We thank you for being patient with me, getting back to my platforms. Soul Cooking with Tea. I have missed each and every one of you all. I thank you for following. I thank you for liking our videos. I thank you for just being you and coming in so that I can share some of my family recipes, some of our what I've learned through the years from my grandparents, my mother, and just family and friends about cooking and family. So again, thank you so much. Okay, thank you, Angela. Thank you. She said you can hear well on Twitter. So again, I'm Tawana Carlton, the host of Soul Cooking with Tea. And today I just wanted to come in again, like I was saying, is thank those that are following us on all our social media platforms. We are excited to be back. We took a break last year and we are starting to get things back together. My cameraman had moved out of state, and so I'm trying to be able to get my filming done and being able. So right now I am in the kitchen of Soul Cooking with Tea, but things are working out and we are excited to be coming back. We have so much going on that we just had to get up today and just come on. We're so excited about what's going on in Soul Cooking. If you could, take this time to share this out with your family and friends. And if you don't mind, shout out where you're from, because we like to shout you out from wherever you are watching us from. We thank you for taking the time out to just come in today, just for a few minutes for just a little kitchen talk. So as you can see, my title said, come in for some kitchen talk. So what I wanted to talk about, growing up in the South, some of the neighbors, especially in my neighborhood, they had chickens in the yard, but they had beautiful, nice places, hen houses is that they called them. And as a child, I was always curious about the chickens. I have always loved roosters. I always have loved a rooster. And so I always was curious about the chickens. I always wanted to go in the hen house. But when the birds started to flap, oh my God, I was out of there. As quick as the door was open and the quicker I could get out, because I was afraid, not knowing if the birds would jump on me, if they would peck me. I was just curious and I wanted to know. And so I remember my neighbor across the street, she had chickens, and like I said, her chicken house was very clean. And she was always making sure it was clean. She had places where the chickens could sleep at night or lay their eggs, had it very nice with nice hay, and it was all sectioned off in the hen house. She had it built up very nice. They had a roof over it. So when the days when it was cold, in Alabama. They were not cold. She made sure it had enough hay in there, in a trough for the water. So it was very clean, and I always like to go and visit with her so I could go out and see the chickens. And so one thing that I learned and I watched when she would go in, because like I said, I was always curious. I always wanted to go in the hen house, but I was afraid because when they started to flap, I didn't know exactly what was going to happen. But one thing I noticed as a child growing up is that, you know, when you go to the grocery store, majority of the time you would see just white eggs. And so when I would go to her house, and I would notice that her eggs were a different color. Sometimes they were speckled, sometimes they were brown, sometimes they were kind of white color, but they still had kind of, you know, dots on them. And so I kind of never asked why. What was the difference and why in the store, you know, I always saw white eggs. And then as I've gotten older, now I do see different color eggs. And so you do have brown eggs and white eggs. And what I have noticed in the grocery store is that brown eggs do cost more than white eggs. I'm not sure why that is. I was talking to a great aunt of mine this past week, and I was questioning her about eggs. And so today I wanted to come in just briefly for some kitchen talk. So here, as you can see, I have a brown egg. This is a brown egg. And then here I have a white egg, a white, very white. So there is a difference in the color. One thing that I do notice in the two eggs is that the skin of the white egg, if I had a flashlight and not even think about it, I should have had a flashlight. And with the white egg, because I'm trying to show my Instagram, so I'll come back to you, Facebook. So what I did notice with the white egg is that in the white egg, the skin or the shell of the white egg is very thin, because I can see, because I have my window open, I can see inside a little bit of that egg. And so if I'd had a flashlight, you would be able to see. So if you have some white eggs in your refrigerator, just take a flashlight and you'll be able to see through that egg. Well, with the brown egg here, and it has a little shine to it, but with the brown egg, I noticed that the shell is a little thicker. So I'm not able to see through that egg as much as I can with the white egg. And sometimes if you hold that white egg right up to the light, you'll be able to see right through that white egg. And so as I was talking to my great aunt this weekend, I was asking her some questions because, as you know, I'm a Southerner. I love to bake. Thank you again for those that are watching me, have joined me live, and those that will catch the replay. If you could take time out and share this out on Facebook to your family and friends, and welcome to another episode of Soul Cooking with T. So as I was talking with her, I asked her a few questions because my birthday was this past month. And I had some brown eggs. And so growing up, by having neighbors that had chickens, so we always had fresh eggs, even if we went to the grocery store. And like I said, we purchased, my grandparents would purchase the white eggs. This majority of the time, that's what you had in the grocery stores were brown eggs. There would be people that would come through our neighborhoods that would have brown eggs on their truck. We had people come through the neighborhood that would sell produce, especially during the summer, when the summer and the spring, especially spring and summer. So you would have people coming through that would have fresh watermelon, they would have peas, all types of vegetables, corn, they would have fresh okra, have fresh sweet potatoes. And there would be times when the man on the truck would come through and he would have some eggs, and those eggs would be brown. But by living in a neighborhood, a small neighborhood, we all were neighbors, and if you gave out of eggs, or if whoever had the chickens in the yard and the chickens would producing quite a few eggs, they would share those eggs with you. And so that neighbor, a couple of neighbors had chickens but they would share the eggs. And I noticed that those eggs were either brown, some would be speckled. None, as I can remember, would be all white. It would have something on them. It would not be just a complete white egg. And so I remember my grandmother always would take those brown eggs, and she could make the most amazing no matter if it was a layer cake or a pound cake, no matter what type of cake it was always amazing. And the thing about it is, I can remember making a chocolate cake and so having the cake would be white. Or yellow, kind of yellow, but the icing would be chocolate. And my grandmother always made it homemade. And in our house, we always had homemade cake. It was very, very rare that we had a box cake. Welcome for those that are joining me now. And so having those eggs available to us from our neighbors, and they were brown eggs, speckled eggs, I did notice that those eggs made the most moist cakes. And another thing that I did notice is with the brown eggs, the yolk of the brown eggs are very, very rich, very yellow. If you have the opportunity to purchase brown eggs and then you have some and purchase white eggs, if you notice that the yolk of the brown eggs are much more yellow, it's much more richer. And so I was saying to my great aunt, I noticed that my cake, I made it around my birthday. I still have some left in the cake plate, and that cake is very moist. And I didn't put an apple or anything inside the cake plate. So again, if you're from the South and you go to people's homes in the South, to keep a cake moist. So you're learning some tips today also. As we have cakes, and sometimes, especially during the holidays when you have several cakes, because people are always dropping by. My grandmother would always, in other Southern homes, they would cut a slice of apple and they'd put that apple inside the cake plate and cover it up, and that would keep the cake very moist. And so, like I said, I made a cake for my birthday on last month. I still have it. I made a sour cream pound cake. And today I was about to throw it out because I was like, okay, I've eaten enough cake. And so when I went to take it out of the pan, I noticed that it was still very moist. The bread is still moist. The topping on top of the pound cake, because when you do a sour cream pound cake, it tends to, when it starts to cook, it starts to rise. And so therefore you have like a cookie crust that ends up on top. And that crust sometimes is delicious. And sometimes it can get hard after a while. But today I noticed that when I took the cake plate top off, that it was still moist and it was still edible. So of course, being a foodie that I am, I immediately put the cake top right back on because I can't wait now to get a slice of cake later and possibly have some ice cream with it. And so again, going back to talking to my great aunt, I asked her about that, and she said that because during times when times were hard and people couldn't afford to go to the grocery store, and when there was no one coming through the neighborhood, and you had neighbors that had chickens, so majority of the time they use the brown eggs. And so till this day, I still like to cook with brown eggs if I can. Brown eggs, or if someone has a farm and I just happen to be visiting and they offer to give me a dozen of brown eggs, I graciously accept, because those brown eggs, I tell you, makes the most moist cake. It makes the most delicious cake that I have eaten and that I've made. Don't get me wrong, I've used white eggs plenty of times in my cooking, but if I had a choice, especially when I'm making desserts, whether it's cakes or pies, I would prefer to have a brown egg. It's just something about that brown egg, that yolk is very yellow. It is very rich. I don't know the science behind it, but that's what I prefer. I prefer having a brown egg when I'm baking. And so as I continued to talk to my great aunt, she just reminded me, because again, they weren't able to go to the grocery store to buy white eggs, and so therefore they used, the brown eggs. And she just reminded me that, the shell of the brown egg is much thicker than the white egg. And again, like I said, if you take a flashlight or hold it up to the light, you can see almost through a white egg, completely see through it. And then with the brown egg, because it is brown. I don't know, it's because of the shell is brown, but it's hard to see through the brown egg, even if I hold it up to the light. I haven't tried it with a flashlight, but I've learned in my baking that I truly know that, because I've used both. If I had cooked that pound cake, sour cream pound cake, last month, which was around about the middle of the month, and my birthday was on the 10th to be exact, that cake that I made, that sour cream pound cake, would have been real dry. I'm talking about like dry, crumbly dry. But because I used the brown eggs, the cake is still very moist. The cake is still, like I said, usually when it starts to rise, it gets top of a crust. And so that crust is still soft, it's still moist, it's still edible. And so that is what I wanted to come in and talk to you about today, was about the difference that I've seen and what I've used between a white egg and a brown egg. I've tried to find speckled eggs. I've tried to find all different kinds of eggs, to try. I'm not a person that eat a scrambled egg or, do an egg. I'm trying to learn to taste eggs and to scramble them. I do cook them for my family and my friends, but I am not quite there as far as just eating a boiled egg. Our son, he loves boiled eggs, and that was because our grandmother introduced him to eggs at an early age. And he truly enjoys eggs. And so one thing you have to be cautious about, because some people are allergic to eggs. So make sure when you are baking and cooking anything that has eggs in it, and you're having people over, or you're taking it someplace, for people to partake of your dish, make sure that they are not allergic to eggs. So that's something you have to be, cautious about, making sure you check about. Again, thank you for those that are joining me live here on Facebook. Thank you for those that are joining me live on Twitter and Instagram. And so you just have to, be cautious about it. And like I said, I prefer using a brown egg if I'm baking cakes, pies, cookies. It's just they are much richer. I did notice that the shell is much thicker on the brown eggs, and I don't know if that comes from what the chickens eat. I don't have a clue about it. I don't know the science about it, but I know that these brown eggs are the eggs that I saw in my neighborhood from women that had yards of chickens in their coop, and these were the eggs that they had. They sometimes would be speckled, some of them would be different colors, but they would always be a brownish color. I don't remember seeing any white eggs in my neighbors' hen houses. I cannot remember seeing any, but we always had the brown eggs, and I truly enjoy using a brown egg when I am baking. So I encourage you to, if you can, see the difference in the white egg and the brown egg, whether you scramble them or baking them or boiling them, or I'm trying to think, what is the other, poaching, I think it is, when you drop them in the water. I haven't tried that. I would like to try that. But I do prefer, when I'm baking, I prefer using a brown egg when I'm doing my baking. So let me put on my glasses, because again, I tell you, I cannot see it. It's all blurry. I want to thank all of you for joining me live here. Hello, Angela. Hello, Frywall. Thank you so much for joining me here live on Instagram. I'm sorry about the lighting on Instagram. I'm trying to work on some things here in the kitchen, trying to get my lighting together. For you all that are watching me on both platforms, on Facebook and Instagram, I know you've heard me talk about and seen me use my Frywall. So I would encourage you to get your Frywall. Listen, it's the most innovative thing that I have used as a cook, because growing up in the South, we do a lot of frying on the stove, and it's a lot of grease and it's a lot of splatter. And so let me see if I can pull my Frywall out so that you all can see it. I keep mine in the kitchen right by the stove. because it's, to me, is the most innovative thing that I can use in the kitchen. So let me roll it back up so that you can see how it comes and how you get it. So this is the fry wall. This right here is the fry wall. And listen, like I said, as being a Southerner, we do a lot of frying and we do a lot of sauteing. We do a lot of just cooking, and stuff starts to platter. Whether you're making pasta and you want to, you know, saute it in the spaghetti sauce, and you want to mix it all right there together. This right here is something that you need in your kitchen. And so it comes just like that. And so you just take it out of the little container and just keep using it. And that way you could just put it in your drawer after using. And this is the fry wall. So let me show you. And you've seen me use it on many occasions in the kitchen. This is what it looks like. And so when you open it up, this part here, the whole part that I have up to my face, that's the part that sits down just like that. It sits down in your skillet or your pot, whatever you're sauteing, whatever you're frying in. Make sure you reach out to frywall.com so that you can get yours too. Listen, it is an amazing, amazing product that I encourage any cook to have in their kitchen. This right here, thank you so much, Mr. Renier. I hope that I say your name correctly. I thank you so much from Frywall for giving me the opportunity to showcase their product on Soul Cooking with T. This right here has been a game changer in my kitchen. Again, you can pick up yours at frywall.com. I've used this so many times because there have been times when I began to fry and I think about, oh, I have my fry wall, because I don't want to have to clean the stove. I don't want to have to clean the refrigerator. And living in an apartment, you have to make sure, you know, you keep everything clean. And so when I'm frying or sauteing, I make sure I pull this out, because this takes less work off of me, not to have to be having to get out my degreasers, my different, all of these cleaners to make sure I keep my stove. And you see my microwave is right over my stove, and then my refrigerator is right next to it. And so this right here is the most innovative thing that I have seen since I've started cooking. And I've been cooking a while with my grandmother, my mother, but this right here is a game changer. So make sure you check them out at frywall.com. And again, I thank you all for joining me live. I'll make sure that, trying to get my glasses on because I got to try to see, for joining me live, and those that will catch the replay. Another thing I wanted to talk about, because like, you know, in kitchen talk, excuse me, one moment. In kitchen talk, excuse me, my nose is trying to run, my allergies, as you age, you have allergies and all these things going on. One thing that I did notice is, as I put on my head wrap today, and this is for those ladies that, you know, we always talking about, we trying to keep our face pulled back, our skin, you know, looking good and everything. One thing that I did notice is, as I was putting on my wrap, I noticed that as I was putting my wrap on, it gave me an instant facelift. So as I was putting it on, it started, you can see me stretching my eyes, it started to pull my face back. And I was like, oh, so I don't need to go and have face surgery or plastic surgery. Just put that wrap on the right way and you will have an instant facelift. So I wanted to share that with you all. Another thing I wanted to talk about, because I need something on my hands, because here in, as you know, I'm always putting my hands in water. I'm always trying to clean. I'm always doing different things in the kitchen, but my hands are always in the water, and I don't wear gloves. A lot of people wear gloves when they're cooking in the kitchen, and I'm not one of those cooks. I never grew up, I never saw my grandmother nor my mother wear gloves in the kitchen, but their hands were so soft. They always kept them moist. They always, they didn't have lotion and things like that in the kitchen, but their hands were always soft, and I always wondered. But during that time, my grandmother used Joy. I don't know even if Joy dishwashing liquid is still on the market, but I like to keep my hands moist. And so when I finish my shows and I'm cleaning up and I'm washing my dishes, I like to make sure that my hands are moist. I put those nutrients back into my hands. And so I want to, this company, Zuri Body Essentials. Hopefully you can see, let me turn it around for Facebook. Here it is, Zuri Body Essentials. I'll show it to you on Instagram. Make sure you reach out to them. It's a mother-daughter duo. This right here is the body shuffle. It is citrus mimosa. I'll put it up again so that you can see it. Listen, this is another game changer. They have a luxury line of products, so make sure you check them out. I keep it when I finish in the kitchen doing my dishes and doing my cleaning. I have it right in my shelf in the hallway so I can immediately, because my hands stay so dry, and I want to put those nourishments and the nutrients back in. And as you can see, it's not oily. You can see it has a little shine, but the more I rub it, it soaks right into my skin, just right into the skin. So if you have products that I can use in my kitchen, whether it's cooking, whatever the product you may have, whether it's makeup, lipstick. Today I am wearing lipstick. I'm trying to think of the name of the company. I can't remember. I'll make sure I add it in because I definitely want to give her a shout out about my lipstick that I'm wearing today. But whatever products you have, whether it's cookware, cooking utensils, pots, pans, lotions, makeup, and you want to be featured here in Soul Cooking with T, make sure you reach out to me. You can inbox me. And I'll definitely reach back out to you because we do feature products on our show. Again, like I was telling you, Mr. Rainier gave me the opportunity to have his product featured on my show. Again, Mr. Rainier Frywall, if you are Shark Tank person like I am, I love Shark Tank. They were on Shark Tank. And so you can go back and Google Frywall, and they are out of New York. And so I've had that opportunity to feature Frywall. I've had the opportunity to feature Zuri Body Essentials and a couple of more other companies that I've had the opportunity to feature on my show. And I thank those for giving me that opportunity to feature their products again. So let me put my glasses on so I can see. Because I tell you, if I don't have my glasses on, I can't see anything. It's just all blurry. So again, I thank each and every one of you for coming in today for just a little kitchen talk. We are back live here in the kitchen. Ms. Doris Wells says, thanks for the information. I will get one. Yes, Ms. Doris, I'm going to make sure. Let me put it in the feed right now. It is frywall.com. And then I'll put it over here for those that would like to purchase one. It's FRY, frywall.com. So hopefully I spelled it correctly. And I don't know why it made it all capital. I didn't ask it to. Let's make sure we get that right. So that you all can reach out to Frywall and also purchase yours. They come in different colors, and that's what I like. Listen, they come in different colors and different sizes. So make sure you reach out to frywall.com to make sure that you can purchase your own personal frywall.com. It comes in different colors. And it comes in different sizes. I'm trying to think of the lipstick that I am wearing. I can't think of the name of it. I should have had it with me. Please forgive me, but I will post it in the comments about my lipstick color because she also was a sponsor on Soul Cooking with T. As a matter of fact, if you excuse me for 1 second, let me get the lipstick so I can let you know who it is. Hold on just a second. Okay, so the lipstick that I am wearing, the company's name is Scorch. Let's see, can you see it? Scorch Makeup. Scorch Makeup. And so I was trying to see what, this is, you see, I'll tell you, Fever. I think it's Fever that I am wearing right now. But I'll make sure I put up all the companies and the products that I have used. And I encourage you to reach out to them, to use their products and to test them out. Because listen, this right here and this are companies, major companies, that have allowed me to feature their products on my show, and I am truly appreciative. I am so grateful for these companies for giving me the opportunity to feature their products on Soul Cooking with T. So if you have products that you would like to have featured on Soul Cooking with T, please reach out to me. I am Tawana Carlton, the host of Soul Cooking with T, and I come live right here in my own kitchen. Again, thank you so much for those that were here with me live. I appreciate you taking the time out to come in and visit with me. And for those that will catch me on the replay, I thank you also for taking time to catch the replay. Again, I am Tawana Carlton of Soul Cooking. I am the host of Soul Cooking with T. It's just Southern cooking in a big city, because I am a Southern girl just living her dream. Have an amazing day, y'all. I'll see you. Bye.